Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a blessing to be able to share with you once again. And I'd like to continue looking at the same purpose I touched on in my last devotional. This, of course, is from a different angle. I'd like to title this Run the Race. Hebrews 12, 1-4 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race God has set before us." We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. Think of all the hostility he endured from sinful people. Then you won't become weary and give up. When we accept Jesus into our hearts and start journeying on this road of faith, whether we like it or not, there are people watching us, trying to follow us. So we need to be careful with what slows us down, especially sin. And most times we are careful in that area and we try not to trip. This verse goes on to say, "Let us run with endurance the race God has set before us." Endurance is part of this journey, and it is set before us so we can and should keep our eyes on Jesus, so we can grow in our faith. We aren't perfect people just because we accepted Jesus, and we were never promised a bed of roses by doing so. Instead, we are asked to run this race with endurance. So every day is a struggle. For example, if you take a swimmer, he or she has to work on endurance through much exercise to get to the place of being a good swimmer in order to compete with others. Likewise, we are asked to do the same in our journey of faith, but not to compete with others, instead to touch others. So really, what pulls us down? Most often, life's troubles pull us down, sometimes to a point of no return. Each one of us has gone through many troubles in life, and it is our victories through those struggles that enables us to share Christ with others. But most of the time, we are so overwhelmed by our troubles and sorrows, and we do not see beyond that. We let worry set in. I remember the first year of being on missions was a great struggle for me. And when I went through my miscarriage there, so many people said, "Now leave all that and come. There is no point going through so much struggle just to help a few people." But God proved himself faithful through all those struggles. He grew our faith through endurance, and that was important, my friend. We had to love those who he loves more than our lives or our troubles. Many people questioned us as parents as to why we would even consider taking a child to a country where there was no proper education or medical facilities. My grandma, who was in the medical field, just could not fathom it. But that just made our faith grow. And the greatest joy was to minister to children with our children. One of the biggest sorrows we faced while still on the missions field was when we lost a spiritual daughter suddenly. This really is Kiasha's testimony, so I'm going to invite her to briefly share, as this little girl, Sanya, was Kiasha's best friend in Timor.
Hi everyone, this is my testimony. The Lord took us as a family to Timor when I was just 3 years old. I was able to celebrate 7 birthdays there. Sanya, who my mom was speaking about, was my first best friend in Timor. We did everything all good friends would do together. We played, we talked, we danced, we even fought on many occasions, but we loved each other dearly. Sanya came from a broken home, and so she lived in our home. Most of the time, called my mom, Mama, and often spoke of her troubles with my parents. She came to know Jesus when we ministered to her, and she drew even closer to him on an encounter camp just before tragedy struck. The year Sanya fell ill, we were separated from each other for a few months, and her father had decided to have her live in the city while we continued our work in the village. A few weeks after she completely delivered on an encounter camp, she fell ill and was in hospital. We rushed down to the city only to find her in a coma, and no sooner she was taken away from us to be with her Maker. This broke me and my family, as Sanya was not only a friend but my older sister and a daughter to my parents. I remember crying all the time as the pain was unbearable, but I thanked Jesus for his comfort and strength that just got a hold of me one day, assuring me that she was with him and enabling me to move on and continue to run the race until I am able to see Sanya once again. I know Jesus took us to Timor to win souls like Sanya to him, and so I have decided to run this race in serving him to the end.
It was only Jesus, as it says in Hebrews. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus. James 1:2-3 says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." So let's focus our eyes on Jesus, give our problems and circumstances to him, and focus on the purpose to which we have all been called, the Great Commission, to win the lost to Jesus. Time is running out, my friend. There is a sense of urgency now, and we are called to lay down our problems, worries, situations, circumstances, and run the race so others may see Jesus in us and turn to him. I once read this: "Be still and know that I am God." The original Hebrew root of "be still" does not mean be quiet. It means let go. That's very different, don't you think? Let go and know that I am God. Let go of trying to control your spouse. Let go of your worry of your finances. Let go of your unforgiveness. Let go of your past. And let God take control and rest in the knowledge that God is in control. Yes, at this time of the great pandemic of the 21st century, let us know that when God is in control, we needn't unnecessarily worry and burden ourselves, but strive ahead with love and compassion for others, leaving aside our own struggles and trusting him to see us through, to run the race in accordance to his will, so that one day, on that glorious day, when we meet him face to face, we are received with these words: "Well done, my good and faithful servant." God bless you all.